All right, so ladies, thank you for joining me here this afternoon on this Friday Junior. Today we are talking about how to silence your inner mean girl and amplify your best self. And I guarantee everybody here and everybody you know struggles with silencing our inner mean girls. So I hope you take something away today that is going to literally change your life, because once you have an idea of who, what, why your inner mean girls are there and what they do to thwart you, you are that much more equipped to figure out how to overcome them. So welcome. My name is Susan Crawford. I am a mom, a coach, and mentor at Meraki Inspired Coaching and Consultation. And I'm so glad you're here, because this is something very near and dear to my heart, because it has changed my life knowing this. What I'm going to walk you through today is how to know who your inner mean girls are, why they show up, and how they get in the way of absolutely everything you do. If you are a mom, if you're in a relationship, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, they will infiltrate every single area of your life, not for the better. Next, I'm going to show you the 3 C's on how to interrupt your inner mean girls so you can listen to and hear your best self and really stop them in their tracks, because they are like little chameleons that will change and shapeshift. So you've got to be on your toes to get a hold of them. And lastly, I'm going to teach you how to remember how to listen to and trust yourself again. And basically, that is your best self. That is the best version of you that you want to tap back into, because as women, we have been taught that we don't need to listen to ourselves. We have to listen to everybody else and all the noise. And I believe once we get through that barrier, we are limitless. So let's hop in. So first of all, what is this idea of inner mean girl? Basically, what it means is that we are listening to these little voices in our heads. And let me ask you, do any of these sound familiar? You're not good enough. You should just quit. That sounds way too hard. We shouldn't even bother starting. You know what? We don't have the time. We're super busy. We shouldn't take another thing on our plate. Oh, you want more? Okay, well, I'm exhausted, but I'll give you more. Drop a 1 in the chat section if any of these sound familiar. If you're thinking, oh, one day I'll start that dream project of mine. One day I'll be able to say no to others and say yes to myself. One day I'll be able to slow down enough to do some self-care for myself. If that resonates and if you hear those voices, you know your inner mean girls. And so we know what they sound like, but what do they feel like? How do they show up in our lives? So for anybody who is starting a business, is running their own business, when you run and operate a business from your inner mean girl, or we also call them your saboteur or your inner critic, it's impossible to do anything, because you are afraid, because you doubt yourself, you second guess your decisions, you procrastinate, you feel like, well, maybe there's a better time, so I'll wait. And then the waiting continues and you're in the same spot a year later had you just done something a year ago. These are all ways our inner critics and our mean girls sabotage us. They make us feel like imposters, like we don't belong, like we don't have enough to offer, like we're not valuable enough. Like, what happens if people don't like what we say or what we do, and they criticize us? And then we judge ourselves. So you see how this spiral creates this anxiety around, well, should I do X or Y? Should I go back to A or B? And when we're confused in that fog, when we're in that space of distraction and indecision, nothing gets done. And that's what your mean girls want. So who are your inner mean girls and why do they show up? Well, let me tell you, we all have them, and they came to us in childhood. Everybody has them because they were our survival mechanism. They are what kept us safe. They are what allowed us to make sure that we were in these little comfortable bubbles of secure, predictable lives, and nothing could happen to us. Because the lies they tell us are, if we step out of that bubble, that protective bubble, bad things will happen. If you take a chance or if you take a risk, bad things will happen. And so by listening to those inner mean girls, those inner critics and saboteurs, we start to believe the lies that they tell us. And though they may have worked for us in childhood, they no longer serve us as adults. And so when we're trying to start a business or we're new moms and trying to parent the best we can, our saboteurs keep nattering in our ears, telling us we're not doing it right. And so I'm going to ask you, how many of you have these four? There are 10 in total, but these four, I believe, are the loudest mean girls that moms and mompreneurs have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So first of all, the Regina George of Mean Girls is the judge. And the judge is the ringleader of all the other mean girls. She walks out in front and she takes no crap. So what your judge sounds like is, you're not good enough. You cannot fail. You will not start because you will not finish. And we know you're not going to finish. The judge is steeped in self-doubt and sabotage. And the judge allows all of the other saboteurs to come out to play. So if you've heard the judge before, for example, I remember forgetting a diaper bag going to an event when I had a young child. And the first thing my judge said was, "You idiot, you're a mom. How do you forget the diaper bag? Come on." And we listen to those voices and then feel awful about ourselves, because how does a mom forget a diaper bag? Now, I don't know if any moms in here have other things on their minds other than the diaper bag, but I guarantee it happens. But the judge doesn't let it go. And so the judge will call in another one of the critics, another one of the mean girls to come into play. And that's the controller. So ladies, you ever have to ask somebody to load the dishwasher? And then you look and go, how do you not know how to load a dishwasher? That's not how you do it. This is how you do it. You have a particular way of doing certain things: changing a diaper, answering a phone call, loading the dishwasher, running your business. The controller needs to have control, because where there is control, there is safety and security. Where there is control, there can be no wrong because you are at the helm. The problem with that is that means you have to do everything. Controller right here, Betty. I only found that out really after I had kids, and I was like, oh, so that's what that's all about. But then there's the pleaser, and I guarantee there are some pleasers in this group. For example, the pleaser says, I'm exhausted. I'd really like to sleep in on a Saturday because I spend lots of hours after hours doing my business. And the pleaser says, oh no, you know what? It would be really nice of me to let my partner sleep in because he works a 9 to 5. Or your pleaser might say, no, I'm really at the edge and I need to take a break. I need to step back. I need to go read a book or take a bath or just have some silence. And the pleaser says, well, no, that's selfish. You can't do that. Good moms don't do that. The pleaser might also in your business say, well, give a discount. Lower your prices, and then that'll bring more people in. Then they'll like you, and then they'll love you, and then they'll accept you and validate you. And so we compromise ourselves because the pleaser just wants to be loved, but it doesn't serve us. And then there's the high achiever. We are taught very young to be high achievers in school because our grades told us our worth. Our teachers during parent-teacher interviews told us how good or not we were. And so the high achiever mean girl is there to say, oh, mama, you've got a side hustle? Well, you better hustle hard, because if you want to be on top, you have to work to the wee hours of morning. And if you're tired, you just have to work harder, because that's what hustling is. Can anybody relate to this? The high achiever in us says we cannot fail because failure is shameful. The high achiever in us says do more, prove your worth. Prove to others that you are making X amount of income. The one thing I hate seeing is coaches saying, make $10,000 a month, just like me. So any high achiever would say, well, yeah, I want to make $10,000 a month. Who wouldn't? But what are you sacrificing in order to do that? And so you see how when we are led by our inner mean girls, nothing really good comes out of it, because we do our work exhausted. We are depleted. We are burnt out. We are overwhelmed. We don't ask for help. We do things on our own that we could delegate. Ladies, working and living from the space of your inner mean girl is not going to take you to the level in your life that you want to be. And so I want to offer you an alternative, because the inner mean girl pathway in our brain has been set from such an early age. But there is a way to find another pathway. And that is the most important thing here, because your inner mean girls make it impossible to do anything good enough in your life. Whether it be a parent, a partner, an employee, a business owner, your saboteurs, your inner mean girls will always tell you it's not enough, and they will burn you out before you realize that your path has to be your way. And it has to come from the voice of your best self. So what I want to do now, if this works for you, if you're believing this, if you're feeling this, give me a 1 in the chat, because I want to know that if you're relating to this, that what I'm about to tell you is going to be the game changer for you. So true. Awesome. Thank you, Betty, Jennifer, Jessica, Kristen, Natalia. Thank you. Because this is it. We feel we have to compete, compare, hustle in order to make ourselves valued, valuable, accepted, loved. And that is all the insecurity of our inner mean girl. Think of the mean girls in high school. That's all they want, is to be revered, to be looked at. But the inner mean girls, when we operate our lives from that space, they keep us small. They keep us hidden in this little comfortable cocoon of our comfort zone. And ladies, if you want to do something beyond your comfort zone, you have to be able to silence those mean girls and step into the best version of yourself. Here are 3 ways to do that. The 3 C's. You have to catch it. You have to be able to catch the voice of your mean girls, whether it's your judge, your pleaser, your hyperachiever, your avoider. There are 10 different saboteurs that are at work all the time, every day in us. And we have to be able to discern, is that my voice? Or is that the voice of my critic? Is that the voice of my inner mean girl? The one that doubts, the one that's afraid, the one that's going to sabotage, the one that's making me feel like an imposter and is going to stay small and quiet in those meetings when I actually have something to offer. If you can catch that voice, that is going to be the biggest key to turning this around. Because once you're able to identify that voice is not yours, you can stop it in its tracks. Catch it, cancel it. When you catch that voice, it is imperative that you cancel it. So you stop it by saying cancel, cancel, cancel if you have to. Think of an ocean, think of 3 birds. Divert your attention somewhere else for just a split second, long enough for you to not be paying attention and falling into the deep trap of your inner mean girl's thoughts, the lies that they tell you. Catch it, cancel it. And then the next powerful thing you can do is counter it. And a powerful question you can ask yourself to counter the voices and the lies of your inner mean girls is, what do I know to be true instead? Simple question. What do I know to be true instead? Because when you ask yourself that question, you remove the voice of your inner mean girl and you come back to your core, to your essence. What do I know to be true instead? And that is going to make the difference between falling into a trap and choosing another path. So ladies, it's like a muscle. It's like when you go to the gym, you have to repeat, you have to do reps, you have to practice. This does not come overnight because our mean girls are there. They are so sneaky and they've been with us for so long, they will find another way to tell you. So for example, I have a client right now that was talking about self-care as baking, as being in the kitchen and preparing food for people. And what we actually realized is that she has a pleaser inner mean girl that is her ringleader. And so how that ringleader has shapeshifted is by baking, she is still pleasing others. It's not actually taking time for herself because she's still subvertly people pleasing. And that's what they do. So by being able to identify, cancel, and ask yourself, what do I know to be true instead? You get back to the core and you don't let your life be led by your mean girls, by these saboteurs who are just trying to get in the way of your big dream, of your entrepreneurship, of spending and enjoying time with your kids and your family. And that's why it's so imperative that you understand how deeply these mean girls run in your system, but how quickly and easily you can flip the switch and choose another path. So one of my inner mean girls is represented by Dementors. I don't know if there are any Harry Potter fans that are watching right now. Put a 3 in the chat. The Dementors like suck the joy from you, from every situation. And if I can give you a parallel, the Dementor is the inner critic, the saboteur. Your Patronus, that's your best self. You're feeling me, Harry Potter fans? Yes. So how do you access your best self when those inner mean girls, Dementors, saboteurs come out to play? And when do they come out to play? When you've got a decision to make, when you're at the cusp of something big, when there's been a change or a transition in your life, like becoming a mom, for someone who's been divorced, for someone who's starting a new job, where there is the possibility or the potential for change, your inner mean girls show up front and center, line up and say, who's in? And so we need something to counter that. So if you are ready to stop abandoning yourself and your dreams because you've been listening to the lies your saboteurs and your mean girls have been telling you, this is how you start to listen to and trust yourself again. Because when you tap into that part of yourself, that is where your best self resides. And she's in there. Trust me when I say she's in there. She has just been covered up by the shoulds, the expectations, the obligations, the roles, the beliefs that people have put onto you. They don't belong to you, but people have put onto you and you have claimed them as your own. And if they don't feel like they fit, this is an invitation to every single one of you to drop them. Drop it and figure out what is yours. Because when you are in the space of your best self, you are able to make decisions with clarity and confidence. You don't second guess yourself or your judgment. You listen to yourself so deeply and so clearly that every step you take is aligned with your values, with what you want for yourself in your life, and the vision that you want to create for yourself. There's a reason you are mompreneurs. There is a reason why you chose to be parents. There is a reason why you're here today with me. Because you have a vision for your life that is different from what it is now, and you are looking to level up. So ladies, I'm going to take you on an elevator trip through your body because that is the best way to get in touch with your best self. Your inner wisdom is already within you, and we forget that. So this is going to be a journey back home to yourself. You start with your mind, that intellectual knowledge that you have. Ask the question, is this my voice? Is this the right choice for me? Is this the right path for me? And then get quiet. Then get quiet. And when you feel or hear those mean girls come in with their, of course, this isn't a path for you. That's too risky. You shouldn't do that. Catch it, cancel it, counter it. But you have to slow down enough to be able to decipher the voices that you're hearing, because your voice will come up. Your logic, your strategies will come up if you slow down enough to pay attention to them. Next, it's tuning into your body. Our body gives us so much information that we have been trained to ignore. That feeling in the back of your neck when the hairs stand up, or when you get goosebumps, or when you're talking about your business and it brings tears to your eyes because you're just so passionate about it. That is your body giving you signs. And when you start to pay attention to those signs for the positive, and also pay attention to the warning signs that your body is giving you, like anxiety, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, that pit in your stomach that gets hard as a rock when you're scared, but you're also kind of excited to do something, but you're not sure. Your body is a wealth of information. If we listen to it, we can tap back into that part of ourselves that knows. And that part of you that doesn't have to listen to the external noise. The part of you that knows that whatever you choose in this moment is what's best for you. And when I say what's best for you, that involves who is in your circle. That could be your kids, your partner. That is what's best for you holistically, not just you as an individual. And then lastly, which is my personal favorite, your intuition. So when we get through the head, the heart, the body, we get to this place of our gut, that deepest inner knowing of our core, that where we know who we are, what we want, and the vision for our lives that we want to create. If we ask ourselves a question, is this for me? Is this the right choice? Is this what I should be doing? You'll know. You'll know because you're still enough to pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. And so your intuition is like your internal compass that is guided by your values. What is important to you? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? Where are you compromising? And where are you honoring yourself? And that's what we want to do with our best self. We want to honor ourselves in every single decision that we make, in every single relationship that we have, in every single part of our lives. We want to move closer to honoring ourselves so that our best self is seen, that she is the one who comes forward, that is how we are engaging energetically, physically with people, not just from the place of fear and doubt and lack of self-confidence and low self-esteem. Because what we know is we cannot accomplish anything from that place. So when you live in that truth, when you acknowledge that that knowledge is already inside of you, you just have to access it again, you are limitless because you are so sure in who you are that your decisions will always be aligned. As a business owner, as a mother, as an employee, as a partner, in every role you play, if you can silence the inner mean girls that say you should, you have to, any of that obligation or expectation that's put on your shoulders that's heavy, if you can silence that, you can make better decisions for you and better decisions for the people that you love. Also, better decisions for your business. So I see we have a few minutes left. I would love for you to ask me some questions about inner mean girls, about accessing your best self. While you're typing your questions, I want to tell you about the Find Your Way program, which is a program that I've designed based on this work. This is the key to change the game. Accessing the power of your best self and silencing the inner mean girls that are in your brain so that you can do the things you want to do in your life. The Find Your Way program is a 6-week program that I walk you through to help you understand how compassion is a key part of your inner GPS, how your values and your character will anchor and guide you through every step and every decision that you have to make, how courage, by learning about your mean girls and learning about your inner leader or your best self, is going to change how you think, feel, and operate in this world. And then finally, how to harness the power of choice. Your choice, not the choices and the fears of your critics. It's yours from the place of your best, most deepest self. Does anybody have any questions? Is this resonating for you? Put a 3 in the comments. Let me know. Do you feel your inner mean girls on a day-to-day basis? 3, thank you, Betty. If you do, remember, catch, cancel, counter. By starting there, you will start to shift how you think. This is all mindset work. This is all changing the perception, the thought patterns. When the thought patterns change, the feelings and the energy in your body will change. When that feels better, your actions will reflect how much better you feel. You'll be able to make stronger business decisions. You'll be able to parent with more confidence without looking at social media and comparing yourself to other moms because you're not cookie cutting all of the sandwiches to put in their lunches. You are going to do things your way. It is time for you to come back home to yourself, and yourself is your best self, not the version of you that you've been cultivating because it has been led by your inner mean girls. Betty, I see a question here. I'm super hard on myself and don't really know why. It doesn't have to be related to trauma, Betty. Those are your mean girls. That is your judge at the helm saying, you're not good enough. You're not doing it right. Do more. And then what your judge does with its little marionettes, it pulls in other types of saboteurs to help amplify its voice. So it's not that you're not good enough. It's that you are listening to the negative lies that your inner mean girls are telling you. Because your inner mean girls are there to hold you down. Think of those mean girls in high school. Think of the movie. They were not good people. They did not want to see people thrive. They were not women helping women. They were women holding other women down. Your inner mean girls are designed to do that because they believe they're keeping you safe. Because it's risky to open a business. It's risky to quit a 9-to-5 job to really follow your passion. It's risky to be a mom because there are so many ways other people can critique. And so when we are following that and being hard on ourselves, that is your inner mean girls. That is the essence of who they are and what they bring to your life. And I guarantee, Betty, you're not the only one. If you are feeling the power of your inner mean girls, it's about time that you get back to yourself, come back home to yourself so that you can figure out whose voice is whose and which one are you going to follow. There's a beautiful Cherokee story about a grandfather talking to his grandson, and the grandson is talking about two wolves, one being very negative and angry and anxious and hard and cold, and then the other one full of light and love and compassion and grace and forgiveness. And he says, these wolves are at war together, fighting every single day. And he says, grandfather, which one wins? And the grandfather responds to the little boy, says, the one you feed. Ladies, if you've been feeding your inner mean girls, it's time to feed the other wolf. It's time to feed your best self, feed your soul. It is time to step away from that part of you that is not serving you or your goals or your vision for your life and start focusing on how you can be and amplify your best self. Amen, Nadine. Feed the wolf that is going to take you to that next level. They will always be there, but one is going to get stronger the more you focus on it. And make sure the one that you're focusing on is the one that's going to serve you best. I want to leave it for any other questions. We have about 3 minutes left. Thank you, ladies, very much for being here. This is a journey back to yourself. This is a journey back from this place where we've been taught to abandon ourselves and to criticize ourselves and be hard on ourselves in judgment so that we stay in a place where we don't outshine because we've been told that's not okay. And this is our time to have those bold, audacious goals, to go after them, to make ourselves aware that we are capable of the big things that lie in our souls, that are there in our hearts, ready to be birthed into this world. Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you for being here both days. Ladies, when you can conquer and make smaller the inner mean girls that are leading your life, you will see the changes amplified. You will see how you become a better mother. You will see how you become a better partner, better worker, better employee, better business owner, because you don't operate anymore from fear and doubt. You're operating from strength, from courage, from love. And when you can operate from that space, everything will change. Melissa, you missed the beginning of the session. That's okay. It's recorded. How do you make the shift from feeling guilt to empowered? Well, guilt is one of the feelings that our saboteurs and our inner mean girls will want us to feel because guilt keeps us stuck. Because if we have the potential to make other people feel bad, that's your pleaser, then we won't do that thing. But what we know is if we don't do that thing because we're trying not to make someone else feel bad, it means we're not doing something for us. We have chosen them over us. And so we have to reframe what guilt is and actually see it as I am doing something to protect myself, to protect my peace, to create a boundary that I need. It's not about them. It's about you and your well-being, mentally, physically, emotionally. So guilt will be there. But with your best self and the wisdom that your best self has for you, guilt diminishes the more you practice listening to that version of you. Conquering these voices and the fear of not being perfect, especially, is going to be such a tough journey, but this has inspired me to take it on. Yes, thank you, Michelle. I am really glad to hear that because perfection is another one of the saboteurs. We have to be perfect moms, perfect business owners. There's this ideal of perfection. Look at Instagram, for goodness sakes. You follow me on Instagram, you're going to see no makeup, hair out, jogging pants, pajamas on the bottom, because that's what life is. This ideal of perfection that we've been trying to live up to is not realistic. Let us silence all of these voices that are hiding our true essence. Ladies, this is your best self, and it's time for you to share that with the world. We are at 1 o'clock, folks. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. You can follow me on social media on Instagram at Susan Crawford 1223. Check out my website. I'm offering 30-minute discovery calls for anybody who wants to dive deeper into this work with me. Thank you so much for being here, and I wish you all a great rest of the day. Take care.